Halt! You've just reached a smile checkpoint, and it's time to pay the fee, so put a big smile on that face. I'm here to help. I've got some amazing news that's going to tug on your heartstrings and make you go, "Aw." A YouTube scammer was just sentenced to over 5 years in jail for a massive fraudulent operation they've been running for the last half a decade. And boy, howdy, I tell ya, it's always a great feeling watching a scammer get their comeuppance. A nice knuckle sandwich from the law. And honestly, he's getting off easy here. His name is Jose Terran, and he is like the Cobra Commander of scammers. This guy is going to go down in history as one of the largest fraudsters in not only YouTube history, but music history as well. Over the course of the last 5 years, Jose has claimed 50,000 songs, meaning that he then took the rights from these songs and all of the money that those songs would generate online went into his bank account. And over the course of the 5 years he's been doing this, he's made roughly $23 million in royalty proceeds from the music he's fraudulently claimed. Bro straight up found a money tree and couldn't help but take a bite from the forbidden fruit, just like in the Garden of Eden. And now he is paying the price. He may have raked in 23 million bones, but now it's coming at the cost of over 5 years worth of his life spent in the slammer. And I really do think he's getting off easy here because this is an absolutely abhorrent case of fraud. But the wildest part is this is actually a very prevalent and out of control epidemic on YouTube itself. This scam is not something Jose came up with. This is very common right now and used by a lot of other shady scumbags. In fact, I'm not here to start pointing fingers here and, calling out sailors on the ship. I'm not trying to lead a mutiny. But there's even some beloved YouTubers that do pretty much exactly what Jose did on a smaller scale. We'll talk about all of that in a minute. I just want to quickly thank today's video sponsor, Opera GX. Opera GX just has so many tools that really allow you to customize it to your liking, as well as even allowing you to limit how much CPU and RAM the browser uses with GX Control. GX Control allows you to enhance your performance on PC when gaming by changing the amount of CPU and RAM you're willing to allocate to the browser, which makes it a lot less of a load on your system, unlike something like Chrome, for example, which is a resource hog. Another great feature is, of course, GX mods, and there's even a mod pack for me on there as well, if that sounds interesting, where you can change browser sounds. Yeah, baby! So yeah, all kinds of customizable wallpapers, and a lot of other interesting things that you can toy around with and adjust thanks to things like GX mods. And when you download using my link, you can see my latest 12 uploads in the Opera GX corner. So if you're interested in starting with Opera GX, you can download it for free in the description. Thanks again to Opera for sponsoring. Before diving into the bigger picture of this whole situation, let's focus on the particulars of Jose's case here. Now, he's considered a person of high risk to reoffend. They even cited that he obtained more than $6 million in personal profits and continued pocketing another $190K of stolen royalties, which he hid. And the hefty sentence was really necessary to deter him from launching future scams because he's planning to remain in the music business. I want to stop it right there. How the fuck is this even considered a hefty sentence? He stole $23 million. 23 million clams that he had no right to, he stole. Now let me walk you through how the scam works. Someone like Jose and other awful people like Jose will set up these fraudulent businesses and they'll go on a copyright claiming bender. Like, we're talking full-blown, 10 lines of coke, stay up 24 hours programming bots in order to flag content on YouTube that they will copyright claim to take the money from. On YouTube, when you copyright claim a piece of content, you then get the ad revenue from it, even though it wasn't you who posted the video. This happens to everyone's channel at some point. At some point, someone created a piece of music or something that plays in the background of a game you're playing or something, and it'll get flagged in the system, and when that's there, you lose all of the ad revenue from the content, and it goes to the person who made that piece, or is claiming they made that piece. That's how it works. In theory, it's supposed to be there to protect copyright holders from people that are just re-uploading their shit. Instead of just taking it down, you have the option to instead just take the money from it and it can stay up. But there's a lot of people that exploit this process, like Jose, where you don't have the rights to 50,000 songs here, but you're still claiming it because YouTube's system is fucking archaic. And there's not a whole lot of safeguards in place. A great example to highlight how unacceptably dog shit the current system is on YouTube, a community member of Destiny 2, just a person, just a, red-blooded, God-fearing human being, a normal person, noticed that this is a complete oversight from the system. And in the Destiny 2 community, he got really fed up with the way Bungie was doing something. They got very upset. I don't want to go into all the details here, so I'm not going to get like too deep into the weeds. But basically, they were disgruntled, and in order to get back at not only the community, but Bungie themselves, they started copyright claiming a ton of content in the Destiny community. And they were claiming it as if it was Bungie doing it. So Bungie got a lot of flack, a lot of shit for it, and then eventually they got so bold and brazen that they copyright claimed Bungie themselves. Bungie's own content that they were posting on YouTube, their Destiny 2 content, this guy started taking the rights of. So it's very exploitable and has been exploited many times. And it's illegal, highly illegal. That guy's facing some serious life-changing repercussions from all of that. And now Jose is as well. But the point is, it is exploited often. It happened a lot and blew up in a big way a couple months back on TikTok, where people started to notice that there's these Spotify accounts set up that just play like random common sound effects like Roblox oof, or like that gong sound effect when something happens, like when you, I don't know, drink milk too fast on TikTok and it's like gong, I'm gonna shit my pants. Like those sound effects. Someone had made Spotify accounts and were actually claiming those sound effects so that way they could take the ad revenue from YouTube videos that use them. It's someone that obviously didn't work on any of the sound effects or anything, but they noticed that they could claim the individual sound effects and then take the ad revenue. So the point is, this is a very common scam and it's a fucking problem. And Jose did this for half a decade, claimed over 50,000 songs that were not his, stealing money directly from those artists in order to profit himself, and he's only getting a little over 5 years in jail. I think that is a far cry from a hefty sentence. And the only reason that it's even that high is because they think he's at a high risk for reoffending, which he is, made over $20 million. You think this guy's not going to come right back into, hop onto the saddle again for another 20 million doubloons? Of course he will. So 5 years is comical. This should have been like an absolute statement. They should have made an example out of Jose here with a super serious sentence, because they got to put the kibosh on this shit. It's already out of control, and it's only going to get worse as people realize just how profitable it is to make these fraudulent copyright claims. So I totally disagree that this is hefty. This is light sentencing for this guy. And it's not just him. In fact, there is another one of his associates that is facing sentencing soon, but I imagine it's going to be roughly the same charges and the same time in jail. So it looks like there's going to be a restitution hearing soon, and right now the amount is set at $1.4 million to the victims of this scam, but they're trying to connect with more victims, but it's a little difficult because a lot of them are outside the US. A little insight into how this scam works was highlighted here in the Ars Technica article. It said that Batista, which was Jose's, teammate here, they duo queued to start this scam. They began in 2017, and they started the label known as MediaMuv. And the goal was to seize unearned royalties by claiming ownership of songs on YouTube that they noticed weren't actively monetized, meaning they didn't have any ads running on it, which is something you can see even as just a viewer. If you go on like a video or a song and there's no pre-roll ad, there's no banner ad or display ad somewhere, you can comfortably say that no one's making money from it. So what they would do is they would target content like that and claim it, which they didn't have the rights to. It's not theirs to do that. But that was their whole business model, hunting this content down and putting it under their umbrella. Eventually, they even partnered with a management group called AdRev in order to give it like more credibility. So it wasn't just immediately red flagged as a huge fucking scam. Like 50,000 songs, that's a lot to be claiming ownership of. But no, it looks like they're partnering with AdRev. This must be legit. So it was kind of deeper than a lot of the other scammers that go this route on YouTube, which is probably why they were so successful and made so much money. This is a great section here, just laying out the timeline. This wasn't exactly like a jump scare to the community. A lot of people had been tipped off about this and fighting against MediaMuv for quite a while, because obviously the people who made the content that was getting claimed knows that it's a bunch of baloney. Like it's straight up fish paste. They made it, and it's getting claimed by a company they've never fucking heard of before. So they did fight against MediaMuv for years, but it kept getting pushed aside, it seemed. But in 2019, the IRS launched an investigation after they became a little suspicious with the amount of bank accounts MediaMuv had that were sometimes registered under fake names. And I really like this section here, so I'm just going to read it. Everyone knows how the scam works, and it's unclear if much has been done to stop future YouTube scammers from using the same playbook and targeting more artists. Artists attempted to bring a class action lawsuit against YouTube to gain access to systems to monitor their royalties and stop royalty theft, but that case was dismissed earlier this month before going to trial. I'll answer that question. Nothing has been done to prevent this from happening again in the future, and it is still continuing to happen right now. I briefly mentioned at the beginning of the video that some YouTubers actually use this same fucking method. Unfortunately, it's become a bit of a nuclear weapon that sometimes these creators will use to either silence criticism or just out of pure greed. An amazing example that we just covered a month ago is Alex Edson of Business Casual when he tried to take down a channel he felt was competition to his. He issued fraudulent copyright strikes. So he went above a copyright claim. He wasn't just taking the ad revenue. He was straight up taking the entire channel down because he believed that that channel used an image that was somewhat similar to an image he used in his video. This just highlights just how broken the system is. So if he wanted to, he could continue to do that and copyright claim other channels and keep making that same argument about like, oh no, that's my image and you stole it from me. And he'd get away with it because the system doesn't have anything in place to stop that. Now, Alex Edson at Business Casual was unsuccessful in his nefarious evil plot. Thank God. But he's still an absolute unforgivable piece of shit for what he's done, and there's a lot of other content creators that engage in similar behavior, maybe not always motivated out of like, you know, getting rid of competition. I need to make sure there's no one left in the world except my channel, so I'm gonna take them all down. But a lot of them are just motivated by greed, where they'll start copyright claiming people's content who like maybe make a meme out of something they did, or even criticize something they did. That's happened a lot over the history of YouTube, so it is unfortunately a system that needs a drastic overhaul, and it's not getting that tender love and care that it needs to be in a good state. So squeaky wheel needs the grease. The squeaky wheel really needs the grease. Otherwise, Jose and Batista here that got 23 million from fraudulently claiming just completely innocent artist music will continue to pop up over the course of the next few years and will only continue to snowball. So yeah, I wanted to talk about this. I think it's great that they did get caught and are being punished. I just wish the punishment was more severe because I just don't think the punishment fits the crime here. They likely won't even serve their full time in jail, and they got away with so much money for quite a long period of time. So I think the sentencing needed to be harsher, and hopefully as more people are caught doing this, the sentencing will continue to increase. So that way it can finally deter people from trying it more in the future. But anyway, that's about it. See ya.